Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat right here on Pram FM 105.5. We are also streaming live on Pram FM Monrovia 105.5 and also streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. If you want to watch the show online, just tap Nighttime Heat on your Facebook page. And of course, you follow the show and you watch the show live. Besides, you want to watch the show on the YouTube, just tap Nighttime Heat, and then you hit the notification bell. You subscribe and hit the notification bell, and so that anytime the show comes on, you are live on the Nighttime Heat. Tonight, we want to urge you to share the live video because it promises to be very, very interesting tonight. Tonight is the weekend edition of the program. And of course, our panelists have begun arriving, to form part of the program tonight. They've begun arriving. Let me just acquaint you with what is coming up. Yesterday, the president, and of course, we discussed that, but we just sought to take it from a more emphatic end today. The president yesterday held his cabinet meeting. And of course, during the meeting, the president was emphatic on the commerce of the Republic of Liberia. We have that video. We'll be playing that video. The president was very, emphatic. And at one point he said, we don't want chicken feet here. So tonight we'll be trying to look into what the president meant. Because, when the president was talking about the Ministry of Commerce, that the ministry has a lot to do, and the president was very emphatic. You saw that the journalists, the cameramen, they try focusing on Commerce Minister Magdalene Dagosa. I hope I got it right. Magdalene Dagosa. And so tonight we'll be we'll be trying to analyze, to look deep into what the president meant when he said we don't need chicken feet here. We're going to talk about that tonight. Also, I'm sure you're quite aware that the Senate has approved the audits of all county administrations. What has really triggered that move? That's the Senate now. They've ordered that to happen. All county administration should be audited. What is responsible for the delays in the issuance of national identification cards? One of the senators, Wellington Jeevan Smith, took the issue to the Liberian Senate, and of course, is asking his colleagues to intervene. We're going to read that and also talk about that, along with other information that we are gathering that are responsible for the delay in issuing the identification cards. Police in Monrovia have charged the Fuller security leader. I wonder why did they charge him? And charge him with what? We'll be discussing that. When they started to prepare themselves for the security of the Ramadan, men were trying to go through some military exercise. That whole thing, sparked a mixed public reactions. We can remember the Minister of Justice said the group should cease operation. But then the presidential press secretary pushed back on the minister and said, instead of ceasing operation, the group should just be restructured. And so that conflict was on until the police just charged the head of the Fuller security leader. The head of the Fuller security, let me get it right. Well, the national, the bill, there's a bill, understand, a bill to amend the Abdullah Kamara Act of Press Freedom. That bill is currently before the Senate. We have the video of the representative who's trying to proffer that idea. Well, he said there should be an amendment that bill. Although, although there's criticisms that he's trying to, reverse the gains made by the press union and other, institutions on the issue of press freedom. So we're going to talk about that, also. Well, today we got news that the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission has cleared former Minister of State Nathaniel McGill. I understand that the LCC said it has no reason to press charges against McGill. McGill used to be accused of payroll paddling when he was the Minister of State under the administration of the CDC. We'll talk about that as well. The Justice Ministry, again, also has pushed back on the former Enfield boss, Dr. Dube Chris Yang. Dr. Yang is arguing that the government is yet to implement what the Supreme Court has said. In fact, the the woman who replaced him is still in the position when Dr. Duba Chris Yang is yet to be reinstated or paid his benefits. We're going to talk about that. We're going to read a statement issued by the press union of not the president, but the Ministry of Justice, and then we'll go into the discussion. Let me welcome my panelists, David Benedictus Erasmus Nambutawe, and the man Edwin Famula, our new lawyer, who's just been taken from the plastic. Dave, let me welcome you to the program.
It means from the plastic. I see why the man looking fresh.
You that politics of that.
So good evening, somebody, and good evening, everyone. Good evening to our diaspora brothers. Moses Sandy, Prince Kripla disappeared. Prince Kripla disappeared from the scene. I don't know why. Perhaps someone will tell us why Prince Kripla isn't showing up. I don't know whether he's just too much for him in the kitchen. So he he has fled the scene. But however, good evening to our listeners and our viewers. Good evening also to our technical people who are in the background. And good evening to all our friends, sweethearts, and others who are also following us this evening.
Okay.
So it'll be a very good, interesting discussion tonight.
All right. Thank you, Tabwe. Welcome, Edwin.
Thank you so much. And I'm again glad to be here. I want to say to our listener, we always, glad and excited to be here at this time to give you information, to give you analysis of the happening in our country. I want to say welcome and good evening to our technicians and our panelists. I don't know what Brother Moses Sandy will be on tonight, but I can give you the reason why Prince has run away, because Prince believes that all of you guys here, including myself, are all United Party partisans. So
no.
It's not about full against.
No. I'm not United Party
or sympathizer.
No. I'm not even sympathizer. No.
But you always beat on the man. You always beat on the man when the man is trying to put against.
When the man sounds unreasonable,
the government idea.
No, when he sounds unreasonable.
So the man believes that you are now a sympathizer. So the man say, can I be among those three guys and everybody fighting me? Yeah. Well, anyway.
So he fled.
Yeah. And anyway, we're glad to be here again tonight to look at the issues and give our own understanding as to how it is and how it should be. Thank you.
You guys will be shocked tonight. Prince is here. so you guys will be shocked when Prince is coming. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. I'm sure Moses will surely join us. Moses Sandy will also join us very shortly. Prince Kripla will also join the show tonight. I know our colleague may let not come, George Kennedy, because, like you said, he has some issues to handle, some family issues. so he may not come. Again, viewers want you to share the video, share the live video so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also follow what's happening tonight on the program. Your panelists is very savvy indeed. Your panelists very incredible. They are back tonight to discuss the national issues that are threatening. So, gentlemen, let's begin on the margin of the program quickly. Today we got news about the clearance of Nathaniel McGill. You know, McGill used to be the Minister of State under the administration of former President George Manuel Weah. And of course, there was a case against him that he was allegedly involved with payroll partly. And so the LACC took that matter. And finally, today we heard that he has been declared. Let's try to read what we have relative to his clearance. Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, case reference number 0521. This is to satisfy that Honorable Nathaniel F. McGill, former Minister of State, was subject of an investigation conducted by the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the LACC, on allegations of payroll partnering at the Ministry of State for the period of 2018 to 2023. Upon thorough examination of the facts and available evidence, it has been determined that there is no probable cause to pursue legal criminal proceedings against the said individual or company. Accordingly, no charges have been filed and the case has been closed. This clearance is issued based on the findings of the investigation and does not serve as an endorsement or guarantee beyond the scope of the specific inquiry conducted. For verification or further inquiries, please contact Mr. Baba Mboka. Okay, gentlemen, so let's begin with you, Edwin. You got legal knowledge. The LSCC has cleared Nathaniel today, but it indicated that the clearance is issued based on the findings of the investigation and does not serve as an endorsement or guarantee beyond the scope of the specific inquiry conducted. What does that mean?
Okay, so let me first of all say the Baba Bwaka guy, he's one of my former schoolmate because he's still in the law school now. He's trying to complete, I think, his last semester. So I know him very well, and I know the kind of work that he does. But the letter itself said a caveat that, yes, based on the issue of payroll pardon that went to the LACC for investigation, it has been investigated. And all of the evidence that was brought forth did not indicate anything of such. So therefore, there is nothing culpable to hold former Minister McGill on that issue. Now, in as much as you want to fight corruption, but sometimes you have to be very careful because our legal system works with evidence. You don't go to court with just speculations. When you go to court, you have to be able to present evidence to the jury. And based on that now, based on the weight of your evidence, they can either indict or acquit the person. So litigation itself is a very expensive and time-consuming process. So that's why you start the investigation process first. And if the investigation does not show any clue, there's no tangible evidence to take the matter to court, you just, crashes out. This is what they have done, and it said a caveat that based on the information that was before, also on the payroll pardon, we have not seen any tangible evidence to hold Mr. McGill guilty on these allegations. However, there could be subsequent indictment again that are there. Those ones are still pending, and he will have to go through that.
Concerning the issue of payroll padding?
No.
Okay.
The issue of payroll pardon has already been quashed.
Okay.
That there's no evidence, but there could be other issues that are
yeah.
before LACC for maybe additional investigation. So that's why they put the caveat in that letter that this is basically just surrounding this issue of payroll pardon, that the evidence that were adduced by the accusers
But not
substantial
Okay.
enough to lead to culpability.
Okay, now Dave, this case when it came up, it became major headlines in local dailies, and in fact a discussion point in street corners and at major gatherings, because the man involved, Nathaniel McGill, it's very very close person to the former president, very influential and a member in the CDC. Now that he has been cleared, what's your takeaway?
You know, and that's the big difference between the former ruling CDC and the Unity Party.
Mhm.
And now, and also the court's ruling, also this
Another court.
the
LACC.
the LACC, I'm sorry, the LACC ruling now has dismissed the claim of
Witch
witch
hunting.
hunt.
Mhm.
You know, this is why when people that are accused and taken to court, those on the other side should give the due process to take its place, to take place, instead of coming with these kind of claims of witch hunt. So, in fact, the LSCC ruling now has totally dismissed the issue of witch hunt that even supporters or partisans of the CDC claim yesterday. If you remember, during the CDC regime, I can remember, you can point at any opposition that won any case at that time. For example, how to call Brandon Samukai also did not win any case. How to call him, the former Associate Justice Cabinet Janan, also didn't win the case. He lost the case. Councillor Gloria Moses Scott also lost the case. So now you have another government, this Unity Party government, that prosecuting people from the opposition and now telling them that they're not guilty of crimes they were accused of. You see the big difference? That's the big difference. And this is why this how a government should proceed. Don't make decisions on partisan level, on political grounds. That because the man comes from the party, he comes from the opposition, and he's taken to court, it's a must that that person loses the case. That's the big difference there. So now, Nathaniel McGill has gone scot-free in this case, in this matter, even though the ruling is saying that there's a possibility that other issues that concern him could indict him at the end of the day. But this is a clear example of what good governance and responsible government is.
Okay, let me hold you there. Now, Edwin, do you think the clearance of Nat McGill, was it something that was highly expected, especially considering the individual he is, a very close confidant, a man who served as former Minister of State, under the administration of former President George Weah, very known, highly, in another word, respected. You think this clearance didn't come as a surprise, or it came?
Well, I don't believe that, because, and I would take a clue from what he said. When you have a judicial system that works based on equity, not based on party politics, not based on which government is in power,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the outcome is, that's what is expected.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, the matter before the LACC was basically based on accusation or allegations against
Mr.
Senator McGill. And based on the evidence adduced during the investigation process, the people at the LACC believe that this evidence is not with enough to go to court to prosecute Senator McGill on it. Therefore, we don't want to waste government resources in trying to prosecute him when we know in ourselves that indeed the matter is not cognizable before the court. Because if you go to the court, you who accuse, the burden is on you to actually provide the evidence in court. So based on that, basically it tells us that the rule of law is working, that irrespective of where Mr. George is from, whether he's from Party X or Party Y, when he goes before the court treats him as Mr. George, a Liberian citizen, not because he's Mr. George, he was close to President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and so forth. And he set a very good example on the issue of the Justice Janet case. The Justice Janet case itself, constitutionally, the Constitution clearly states that you cannot hold somebody, a judicial officer, liable for decision made while serving in chambers or while carrying on his judicial process. There's a constitution provision that gave him immunity. But based on party politics, people thought that, you know what, we have to bring him down. Now that we've seen that the country has now transitioned to, irrespective of who you are, once you come before the court treats you as an ordinary Liberian citizen where your rights should be protected. And if you are not guilty, you are not guilty.
Now, are you trying to insinuate that the administration today, if it wanted to, it could have maybe manipulated,
manufacture evidence? Of course. If they wanted to, they could have done it. They could manufacture.
But how do you?
Evidence.
David, let me come to you. Listeners and viewers, you listening to and watching the Nighttime Heat, kindly share the live video so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also follow what's happening. We are discussing currently the clearance of Nathaniel McGill, former Minister of State for Presidential Affairs under the administration of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Now, Dave, is it possible that the LAC or the government through the LAC could have manufactured any evidence?
Yes, of course. Even McGill himself is absolutely flabbergasted that he can be exonerated from allegations brought against him. Because had it been his time of his government, he wouldn't have easily been,
Now, just okay. Now, so we know. I come. We have people listening to us. Dave.
I know that.
State 2-3 instances where under the CDC administration, people didn't get justice because you said you are making a very wild allegation that had it been his time, that is, had it been the CDC administration's time, McGill would have been collected.
And somebody that is obvious. He wouldn't have been exonerated. And I cited 3 examples.
Yep.
3 examples I cited.
What are they?
The 3 examples, Justice Janet, Gloria Moses-Carr's case. Yep. And the last one, Brandon Samukai.
So are you saying that a case, the government brought charges against Gloria Moses-Car wrongly or falsely? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, let me bring Moses on. I'm coming back. Let me bring Moses on quickly. Moses, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. And let me say hi to Edwin, Mr. Tagbet. Is George in today?
No, George is not here.
Okay, and our crew back there is. It's good to be back. It gets challenging sometimes, but it is good to be back. And I'm in the middle of this. Thank you. Let me listen, and then I can contribute.
All right. Thank you. Now, before I come to you, Dave and Edwin and Moses, let me read this opinion. So, in July 2024, is an opinion. The General Auditing Commission, the GAC, is trying to give a background to the case, submitted its report on its compliance audit done at the Ministry of State of Presidential Affairs for the period fiscal year 2018 to fiscal year 2023. The report is 134 pages, 134 pages long, and its management letter to former Minister Nassana McGill had a litany of issues they needed to respond to. The report findings were reviewed by the Senate Public Accounts Committee and forwarded to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission for possible indictment of those found wanting in the audit report. The LSCC, upon review of the report, invited former Minister Nassana McGill, now Senator of Mangimi County, for a hearing, something he initially resisted, but later accepted to avail himself. This as in August 2024. Today, after almost 1.5 years, the LSCC issued a statement certifying that Senator McGill had done nothing wrong. While this may offer some relief for the senator, yet it is important that the LSCC informs the public of their investigation via a report. This may potentially raise issues of the quantity of the evidences contained in the Auditor General's report that emanated from a comprehensive audit carried out by the GAC. This was a public indictment, and thus is only fair that the outcomes of the LSCC investigation is made public as well. In the same breath, the credibility of the Auditor General and the General Auditor Commission is now up for scrutiny. Now, let's hear from you.
So I will start from the legal side that says that in a criminal matter, it is not a quantum of evidence. It is not a preponderance of evidence. It's based on a reasonable doubt. Now, so if you're going to indict somebody, you should make sure that when that matter goes to court, that the state can prove beyond a reasonable doubt. If a single doubt exists, it works in the interest of that defendant. So you don't want, like I said earlier, you don't want to waste the state time and resources going to court when you know you have serious doubt that you cannot indict, you cannot convict former Minister McGill based on just, something that the GAC may have pick up in their mind that this was malfeasance or so. Now, the GAC guys, they are accountant, they are auditors. All right. Sometimes some of them are fraud investigator. But when they go there, they look at the surface of what has been presented to them. That's why when that document goes to the Public Senate hearing committee, they will invite all of the parties to give their own understanding as to why these decisions were taken. Beyond that, if the report goes to the LSCC now, the LSCC go beyond what the both parties have done, both GAC and the Public Account Committee. The LSCC also has the authority to subpoena documents from relevant institutions, maybe the central bank. They can subpoena documents from the Ministry of Finance on the payroll issue. And then they will go through all of them also and then analyze it one by one. If they don't find no probable cause, they call you and say, look, based on what we've seen, we don't think that this man committed any fraud.
No, so don't you think was quite necessary
for the report?
Because the GAC conducted the audit, and then the audit report was sent to the Public Account Committee, headed by Amara Corner,
yeah. Senator.
And they all went through that. It's Prince one. They all went through that. Now he's trying to connect. Now, if the both of them thought that this could, create some, it could, spark indictment, or if the both of them, did believe that it was not that, sufficient to spark or to trigger any indictment against McGill. Why they didn't allow the matter to just
To rest.
rest?
You don't have the
Then
authority.
I'm coming. Then taking the matter, sending it to the LECC, and then after a year or plus, LECC finally came up to say, "Look, this thing we saw, it has not." Why they couldn't just allow the matter to rest, especially two major institutions, the GSC, the Public Account Committee.
Procedurally, it was not wrong. Procedurally, it was not wrong. It was good that Nathaniel McGate was even hesitant from the initial stage to have appeared before the LCC. None has appeared. And at the end of the day, he's exonerated now. So for me, and I'm not a lawyer, I think the lawyer has spoken. And then I agree with him. The fact that whether the two big institutions, they
peruse the document, they saw everything.
They peruse the document, they
And
saw everything.
the question is,
And,
don't you think they could have just allowed sleeping don't lie? Because
No.
I'm coming
Sabo.
I'm coming.
Uh-huh.
Then to send a matter to the LSCC, and at the end of the day, the LSC didn't find any substance.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's part of the transparency. It's part of the due process. It's part of the due process. He was given a due process. LCC and whatever GSC and others came up with that decision. It was the due process. Maggie was given the due process. It's not a matter of allowing sleeping dog to lie. It was better that they look into it, and where the pieces of evidence adduced weren't convincing to proceed to court or to send Maggie to court. I mean, Maggie is
because the reason I asked the question, and let me go to Moses. When this whole when the issue with McGill started at the LACC, there were arguments in some quarters that apparently the government is trying to witch hunt, which you indicated earlier.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now, if the LACC or the GSC, the Public Account Committee, two major institutions that peruse the report, the findings, don't you think, Moses, they should have just, or they could have just allowed Sleeping Dog to say, look, let us now proceed with this matter. The GSC and the, GSC conducted the audit. Now it went to the Senate. The Senate is a house of elders and a lot of financial experts. In another word, they are part of the Senate. So don't you think this matter would have ended at the Senate, then taking the matter to GSC, to LSC, that triggered people saying, oh, the government trying to witch hunt former CDC people. Moses, let's hear from you.
Well, I think moving the case forward to the GSC is part of the good governance process. Transparency, holding people accountable. So, like you guys have said, if there were red flags, probable cause, that hey, something happened, these are the concerns, let's investigate further. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
By letting McGee off the hook at this time with demonstrate, look, these people are not on. When you are in the right, regardless of where you come from, we give you justice.
Yeah.
Again, comments that other people will make, this is where I would like to come from. I wrote in the chat room earlier today that fighting corruption in Liberia is an uphill task. It's very difficult. And let me even go beyond Liberia. It's a global problem. Corruption will always fight back. People will do everything. The LACC have set a pattern. The former Director General NAFA walked away with similar, decision that she was in her life. But if you have a committee, the public account headed by former Minister of Finance, he's not a lawyer. But the guys reviewed the report. The GSC did a report. Everybody, they sent it to the LAC, LACC, LACC say, look, we don't have the evidence. It's good. But the people who are doing the investigation, the administration that's also trying to hold people accountable, the administration also is corrupt. This administration is, there are a lot of people in this administration that are extremely corrupt. And the examples are just too many. Corruption is not limited to people taking money. Corruption means what? Malfeasance, bad governance. When people make terrible decisions that impact the country. Take, for example, let's go to the Capitol building. The thousands of dollars that the Baka administration wasted just to make sure that Kufa was removed, that's also corruption. You go to FOIA, they when someone invested under dubious circumstances, that's an act of corruption. So if the corrupt going after the corrupt, it just becomes laughable. I personally see it.
So in another word, Moses, you are saying that this government didn't have the moral to go after Nathaniel McGill.
Of course, the administration lacks the moral. I said it before. Let me read it so that I can be quoted rightly. The administration lacks the moral to go anyone on the basis of corruption because the government is extremely corrupt as well.
You know,
no, 1 minute, you're coming. Now, do you, and I'm not coming to you because you want to jump in the mess. Let me hear from Edwin. Edwin, you know, there's this, I call it in law that you comes with.
Equity must come with clean hands.
Must come with clean hands. Yeah. Moses is now pushing back on the administration. That administration doesn't have the moral because we are currently talking about FOIA project. We talked about the removal of the former speaker, using taxpayers' monies as the catalyst to have it removed. What do you say?
Well,
do you agree with Moses or not?
Well, like I said when I began my statement, that evidence is what the court use. So the court does not go by speculations. So we all can sit here and say, well, the government is corrupt because we believe it's corrupt. But it doesn't mean that the government is corrupt. Until audit can be done and it is realized that there are proven evidence that all of what Brother Moses is talking about actually were marked by corruption, then we, somehow say, okay, yes, maybe the statement is right. But what I want to push
Moses
in here,
making up a story.
Well, those are speculations because the FOIA project,
they don't have any outside of truth in them.
The FOIA project has not yet been audited to prove whatever was said by the government or President Bwakya is false or where the money came from. Also, the other issues of people being corrupt. Look, most often what we do in Liberia is speculative. And all of these GSC reports, because I have read a couple of those reports and gone back and forth on it. So sometimes the GSC report is not actually saying that Slobo George took money.
Yeah.
It's actually saying that the actions of Slobo George was actually not properly done. So this could be considered as, malfeasance or so. That is why there are layers. So when GSC finished, the Public Account Committee would take that report, look at it, ask Slobo George some questions. And like our brother Moses rightly said, the guys in the Public Account Committee are not lawyers. They are not investigators. They are all lawmakers who have the authority to go over the report, just read it from its surface. And then if they feel that the answers given by the accused is not satisfactory, they send it down to the people who are expert in investigating and finding the various evidence or so forth. So I think this is what has been done. I would not really want to actually.
So you don't agree with Moses?
No, I don't agree with
Dave, let's hear from you.
I also disagree with him. Moses Moses' claims are based on insinuation. Moses just insinuating, saying I can get a warning and say, Sabajo is corrupt. It's saying that a government is corrupt. It's not all to it. You must provide.
But he started instances now.
What instances?
He started the issue of the removal of the speaker, using state resources as the catalyst. I'm coming. Using state resources as the catalyst to remove the speaker. He also started, other issues.
It's a insinuation.
The FOIA project, he indicated.
It's a insinuation.
So,
FOIA project. Moses would.
Go ahead.
No. Moses, 1 minute. Moses, 1 minute. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Moses, 1 minute. Moses, 1 minute. Let the man learn. Go ahead. Go ahead.
As far as I'm concerned, Moses' claims are just mere insinuation. You said FOIA project. Has anyone conducted an audit on the FOIA project to determine whether monies that are used to erect that project, where one way or the other not justifiable, and it's just mere insinuation. The removal of the speaker. How do you know that government used a specific sum of money to have removed the speaker? Has there any audited?
So how did you know also, let me put it back to you. How did you know that the charges the government brought against Gloria Mususkar were all fabricated? How do you know?
Because the fact of the matter is that you can have a government in which all the opposition that were taken to court.
That's mere speculation. No. It's the same as mere speculation.
No.
Saying that
This is I come in. Let me come. The first thing, look at the cases. You have the lady from NAFA. How they call herself? Emma Glasgow from NAFA, and opposition from CDC. You have Nathaniel Maggie. All these people were taken to court. And at the end of the day, they won their cases under a government that, another government that they were opposed to.
We are not discussing that. What we're discussing, Moses said, Moses, you can come in.
Moses doesn't have, Moses
1 minute, let's give
What
Moses
are the
time.
facts?
Moses, you can come in.
Let me facts.
So, I'd like the question.
No.
So, I'd like the question that you put to Mr. Target. Mr. Target did not only speak to you; he spoke to the world.
Yeah.
Said, the Weah administration levied charges against people because of political reasons. Those allegations had no legal basis. And he made reference to Gloria Mususkar situation. So
made reference
he basically told us that what he insinuated. In my situation, it's not based on insinuation. Mr. Famulet is a lawyer. In law, there's what it calls circumstantial evidence. And let's look at the situation in Lofa. Mr. Tagbe, have you seen any document like you that showed that there was a bidding process for the FOIA project?
In fact, that I haven't seen a document. I don't know whether you're being rhetorical or what, but as far as I'm concerned, the fact that I've not seen a project doesn't mean that.
I'll come in 1 minute. 1 minute.
No, the fact that I've not seen a document doesn't mean that.
I was just being.
Yeah,
it was being rhetorical, but I want you to know. I want you to follow these trends. There's no evidence. You live in Liberia. I don't. But based on what that is in the public domain, there's no evidence that shows that the FOIA project went through regular legislative process. When the government initiate a project over $6 million, it go through what? Legislative processes. No record to that. And the president contradicted himself repeatedly. First, he said this project is a joint initiative of MRU, funding will come from MRU member country. The videos are out there. I'm not saying it. When he delivered a State of the Nation address, what did he say? He said the project belongs to the government of Liberia. That's inconsistency.
Okay.
When you have inconsistency, it creates problem of trust. That's corruption. That's malfeasance.
Okay, so it is against that backdrop that Moses is saying the government itself doesn't have the moral to go after.
So you agree with Moses?
No, you're not going to ask what I agree
with Moses.
Let's, no, but you can't. Let me welcome Prince Kripla. Prince, welcome to the program.
It's kind of unmute. It's obvious that Prince Kripla will support Moses.
Thank you, Sobo. Let me say hi to the colleagues.
Yeah, go ahead, Prince.
Let me say hi to the colleagues. Let me start by contributing to the conversation that is ongoing. I think this Moses and the rest of the other colleagues who are battling Sandy, they are aware of the fight, but they just try to be disingenuous.
Okay.
The fact is that the 4-year project, like Moses Sandy emphasized, every public project, especially in the tune of the kind of money we're talking about, $6 million or more, even 500,000 is legislated by the national legislature, is allocated in the national budget. They can show you in what part of the national budget is that money allocated. The justice project that they're talking about, that the Ministry of Justice is going to be launching, when you look in the national budget, you will see the allocation being made, initial allocation. You don't see that with the LOFA project. What does that say to you? It tells you that there's something feature ongoing. There's no allocation of that money. The fact that it's not being allocated in itself is a corrupt practice. Now, let's talk about PPCC procedure. There's no public, procurement, leading to the construction of that project. Nothing of that nature. The other point here is this: on the issue about somebody was arguing whether the government, there's no audit that have been conducted on different corruption allegations against the government. That's not true. The GSC audited the Ministry of State, and the GSC audit of the Ministry of State says that the deputy minister that is now being named as minister designate, I don't know whether she's confirmed now, of the Ministry of Youth and Sport. She managed the short-term jobs at the Ministry of State. And that process was corrupted. The audit reports are public. I can share copies of that audit report with you. Nothing has happened. The government have done nothing to cry. Instead, they appointed her as a minister of the Ministry of Youth and Sport. The Ministry of Finance was audited by the GSC. The audit of the GSC says that the Ministry of Finance allocated more money than were approved to various public agencies, up to the tune of $2 million. $2 million United States dollars. I'm not talking about Liberian dollars. That's a GSC audit. So when people say the government is corrupt, those are some of the indicators. Besides that, there are a lot of public processes that the public agencies of the government deem corrupt. The fact that LACC commenced an investigation into a specific corruption allegation means there's a red flag. There's a red flag. So you can't claim that there has not been any investigation of the government corrupt dealings. They have.
Okay. All right.
On the Magir clearance.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Mr. Magir is clear, because the process was a political witch hunt. All of those who are currently in court for corruption allegations from the past government, if there is an independent, impartial judicial process conducted, those people will be clear, because the government is not honest about her fight against corruption. She's
okay. All right. Let's go there. Yes.
So let me just respond to Prince, and like we said earlier, You see, these things are not based on sentiments or based on how you feel or what you say. The GSC report doesn't indict individual. The GSC don't have the authority to indict anybody. That's why they do their audit. It goes to the legislature, and then after that, they submit it now to LACC and to the Ministry of Justice for prosecution. Until the people can go to court and be convicted, they're still presumed innocent. So that's the point from which I was speaking from.
My argument was that David was saying there's no audit conducted. That's my argument.
I didn't say that. I said
No, David,
nobody has been found guilty of any corrupt act, and I still stand by that. Audit can be done. Audit can say Famula did XYZ. It doesn't mean Famula is guilty of a crime. All right, those are allegations. Until it's proven through a court of competent jurisdiction and I'm found guilty, there's no evidence that I have stolen or done XYZ. So everything you say about Madam Cry again is still speculations. Now you can say it's wish hunt when all of these processes were followed. What we're trying to say to you here is that, look, I heard about the FOIA project, what Brother Moses is saying. Now, there are a lot of way government works, and Prince Kopla himself said it. Government, the executive can allocate money into the national budget for infrastructure projects. Now, have we asked the government, you build this property, where did the money come from? Which of the budget year did it go to? Where did you get the money from? These are the questions that...
No, we should not be asking that question. We can't ask to the budget.
Wait, my man.
Please wait.
And somebody, you have to check. You
Yeah.
read the checkpoint. What?
So,
Well, you have to read the checkpoint. Somebody.
Prince, we know you killed fight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come for it, my man.
But no, we
We know you killed fight.
a lot of men to learn.
No,
Go ahead.
no, but
We have
You
to
know-
transition, gentlemen.
You know, when you put all of these facts in place, right? It is good that Brother Moses said the president have come out to say the project belonged to the government of Liberia. So that is a public record. At the end of the day, whether this project was single source, and also people saying, oh, we didn't see PPCC document, but in the CPCC law, government can single source. Government has the authority to single source a project if they feel that they want to do it.
But that single sourcing should be approved. It should be
There's
based on
a procedure for single sourcing.
But do you know what
Based
PCC?
on-
No, but do you
No,
know what
don't
PCC?
just say
No,
that.
no. Do you
No,
know
you
what
are lawyer
PCC
now,
and PPC? No.
No, you are lawyer.
But you
It should be
speculating.
based on the approbation of the people.
But
do-
have we asked it relevant questions?
But have you asked PCC what are they
Yeah,
approved
But you
that
say
project?
you say
No, no, but
that
I-
government can only
No. I'm saying honor the
at
law.
will.
I know. I'm saying honor the law. Or the PPCC law, government can single source.
Yeah, but it has to be based on the approbation. of the
That's why I
government.
said, have you
Okay.
asked what this
All right,
FOIA
gentlemen, we
project was
have-
abrogated?
Let's hear from you, Prince, so we can your response.
Why you came out of prison?
So we can,
My argument is
somebody in speech.
My man.
my argument is this. My argument is this, Sobo.
Let's go ahead.
The
We have
fact
to-
that we
we have
don't
to
even
transition.
know where the money comes from. The fact that we don't even know where the money comes from, because any money allocated for public project should be approved by the legislature.
Have
It's
you
a violation of the
relevant
law.
question? Have you asked the relevant question? Have you asked the
The-
relevant?
It is clear that donors are not financing the project.
You know.
It is
How you-
clear that the government
Yeah,
is not
it's
financing
like
the project
someone-
because it's not
someone
allocated in the
saying that.
national budget.
This is unfair. How
No,
can
you
someone
can't say
how
that.
can someone say
If the money,
No, you're not being fair.
no? You're not
We'll
being
have
fair.
to mute your microphone.
No.
Please. I'll have to mute your
Now,
microphone.
now he's threatening me.
Let's
This
let
is
the man
unfair.
learn. Let the man learn. You can come in later on.
No, I will respond to
Let the man learn.
Yeah.
Prince, gentlemen, we have to by 9 o'clock. We have to transition. Prince,
So
go
here's
ahead.
it. Here's it. The fact that the government is even implementing that project outside of legislative approval in itself is wrong. It is wrong. There's no money, there's no allocation in the national budget for that project. Even if it is
That's
public
wrong.
funds that they are using, where are they getting their authority from? That money should have been channeled through the budget approval process, the budget appropriation process. That in itself is corruption.
Okay, all right,
He
Prince.
audit,
Prince.
they got system audit. They got system audit. and they got record audit. They got all the different audit. That is
I see what they defeated you at the
Please,
I see what they defeated you.
no,
No, I see what they defeated
You're not
at
gonna, no. The man is speaking. The man is speaking.
Asking for it.
Prince, good man,
Yeah.
Prince. You can respond. So,
Yeah, you know, let me
we have to transition.
let me just say this. You know, there are projects that sometimes government do that probably don't even come through the national budget or so. So there could be some security implication or security related.
Like in the case of the
Also,
FOIA.
Now, let me see.
No, I mean, let's
As you speak right now, no.
No. Like in the case of the
Why you want
FOIA.
to-
It was said.
Why
It
you
was
want-
said.
No.
No.
I'm
It was
asking
said
the
on
question.
ERBC by the president that this is an infrastructure project for MRU.
Okay.
All right, that will be used by the various heads of state of MRU if they have issues or so.
But initially,
So that in itself,
initially,
chief,
there were conflicts in accounts.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So if the
Admit
president
to that.
speaks, once the president speaks, it becomes an authority. The president said, "This is what is it about." So based on that itself, it gave it a security nature. All right. Now, Prince was arguing about projects that have been done that are not in the budget. As we speak, there's a bridge being built between Ivory Coast and Liberia under the ECOWAS financing agreement. It is not in our budget, but that project has been done. So that's not everything government will do. They will put it out there.
Okay.
So,
All right, gentlemen, we have to transition.
regional
We
projects
have to
sometimes are
transition.
funded through different routes or so because of the security nature around those things. If you
So
have
how
the-
many years will they tell us
Did you see
we do not finance in that
No,
project?
now we
How
have
many years
to
will they take?
transition. We have to transition.
Let's transition, yeah.
Let's transition.
Let me not put it now to
You
FOIA Benin.
listen to the Nighttime Heat directed on Pram FM 105.5. We are also streaming live on Pram FM Monrovia 105.5 and also streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. That's the Nighttime Heat Facebook and YouTube channel. If you are watching, want to share the video so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight. Gentlemen, the Ministry of Justice has released a statement pushing back on Dr. Duba Chris Young, who was then the head of the National Public Health Institute of Liberia, Enfield. You know, Dr. Young was investigated, I think, by the board, and later on, recommendation was made, and he was removed. He went to court, and the Supreme Court ruled that he should be either reinstated or paid all his benefits. Now, Dr. Young has been in the media accusing the government of trying to defy or disobey the Supreme Court's order. So the Justice Ministry came up with a statement. Let me read. The Ministry of Justice has taken note of recent public statements made by Dr. Duba Chris Young concerning the Supreme Court proceedings arising from his removal as Director General of the National Public Health Institute of Liberia. The ministry categorically affirms that the government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Justice, remains fully committed to the rule of law and to the constitutional authority of the judiciary. At no time will the ministry undermine, disregard, or refuse to enforce a lawful decision of the Supreme Court of Liberia. Respect for the court and adherence to legal processes are fundamental obligations of the executive branch and remain cornerstones of our constitutional democracy. It is important to clarify the procedural posture of this matter. The ruling referenced publicly was rendered by a justice of the Supreme Court sitting in chambers under Liberian law and Supreme Court practice. Decisions rendered in chambers are subject to review by the full bench of the Supreme Court, where a party exercises its lawful right to appeal a chamber's justice's ruling to the full bench. The effect of that appeal operates as a stay of enforcement pending the final determination of the full bench of the Supreme Court. You explain this to us. In keeping with established legal procedure, the executive branch, through its legal representatives, exercise its constitutional right to appeal the chamber's ruling to the full bench of the Supreme Court. This step is neither an act of defiance nor a refusal to comply with the court. Rather, it is a constitutionally recognized legal remedy designed to ensure that matters receive full judicial consideration. Accordingly, any suggestions that the Ministry of Justice or the executive branch is refusing to enforce the law is misleading and does not reflect the legal reality. For the avoidance of doubt, the government remains fully bound by and respectful of the authority of the judiciary. The Ministry of Justice has a constitutional and statutory duty to ensure that all legal processes are properly observed before enforcement actions are undertaken. The distinction between a Chambers ruling and a final determination by the full bench is fundamental to Supreme Court practice. Public commentary that omits this distinction presents an incomplete and inaccurate picture of the legal process. The rule of law requires discipline, patience, and fidelity to judicial procedures. The Ministry of Justice assures the public that the government of Liberia will continue to act strictly within the confines of the law. The integrity of Liberia's constitutional democracy demands nothing less. Signed, Jutono Wakoli, Director of Press and Public. Okay, he's the head of the Ministry of State. Hear from me. I'll come in. Let's hear from you, Edwin.
Yes, so basically, the Ministry of Justice was just responding to the allegations made by the former director, Chris Dugbeyan, who is widely respected as a scientist. Now, the judicial process it has various layers. So when you if you take a matter to the Chamber of Justice and the respondent, which in this case is the government of Liberia, takes an appeal to the full bench, because this is entirely a constitutional issue.
Mm-hmm.
The president has the sole authority given by the Constitution to appoint and dismiss at will. So you work at the will of the president. Now, also, the same Constitution gave the legislature the right to create these new positions, and then put a caveat in that Mr. X, in as much as can be dismissed, but should be dismissed based on a cause. And if those cause does not exist, and the president just jump out one morning and dismiss them, they have remedy at law. So that remedy at law is to go to the Supreme Court and say, look, I have a tenure job that says that I can only be dismissed based on cost.
Mm-hmm.
But my dismissal was not based around any of these costs specified in the law that created NFIL. So therefore, I feel that that particular right has been abused by the appointing authority. So what the Chamber of Justice did was to call the two parties, the petitioner and the respondent, to go and argue. The argument were made and the Chamber of Justice ruled. In as much as the Chamber of Justice ruled in a petitioner favor, in this case, which is Mr. Dugbeyan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, the state, which is the Ministry of Justice, took an appeal to the full bench. So it means that there's a state or whatever judgment that was made by the Chamber of Justice. So it means now that the full bench will have to meet, with the exception. So when the full bench meet, the Chamber of Justice now will have to recuse himself. And then the full bench will meet and decide on this matter based on the constitutional nature. Again,
now,
there will be another argument.
What is the time interval? What's the duration? What time this was to meet after a Chamber of Justice had come up with a ruling?
Well, again, that is actually on the basis of the Supreme Court schedule. As we speak, the Supreme Court is on recess. So I think they should be coming back next Monday, which is the second Monday in March, for the March term. So once the court comes back from recess, all of those cases that are before the court for the hearing of the full bench will definitely be heard.
So you are saying, in another word, that Dr. Dugbe Chris Young's argument that the government is trying to disobey the Supreme Court's ruling is actually incorrect?
No, it's definitely incorrect.
Because
The state has taken an appeal, yeah.
Because the decision or the ruling was not a full bench ruling.
No,
rather it
wasn't
was a
full
Chambers
bench.
justice
It
ruling.
was a Chambers justice
Okay, let's
ruling.
hear from you, Edwin. I mean, Moses.
Yeah, look, today I spent a good time listening to the former Director General of Enfield, Chris. I'm sure you guys making reference to the interview that was held on OKFM.
Surely.
If that is what people are referring to as this man saying that the government has chosen to disobey the ruling from the Supreme Court, then I would say the Justice Ministry is misrepresenting what the former Director General said in that interview. Somebody listen to this, man. The interviewer asked him, he said, okay, now with all these things that are going on, what do you want? Now, heard him say, he asked him, do you want to go back to your job or do you want to be paid for the rest of the time that, is covered under your tenure position? His response was that this will have to be a decision that will be made by the president. He did not say that the government is disobeying. The interview is out there. And what he said is absolutely true. This is a decision that the executive mansion will have to make, especially the president. It's the president that will call him in and say, oh, my man, you know what? Go back to your wife, or we're going to pay you off, or we're going to take back an appeal as announced by the Ministry of Justice. But I think the former Director General is being misquoted. His statement was taken out of context.
Okay.
Everybody can go and listen to it.
Let's go there. His statement was taken out of context. According to you. Now, let's hear from you, Dave.
I'd like to ask Mr. Famula a question, please. Famula, you like to draw a dichotomy or a line between this case concerning Duba Chris Nyai and the case that concerned the former Associate Justice Cabinet Janet, where the ECOWAS court ruled in his favor, and the ruling was either he was reinstated or paid off. Something in the background there. You were paid off. It's similar, right?
No.
Not similar, right?
No, it is.
Okay, draw the line. Let's hear that.
The issue of the former Associate Justice, it was an impeachment process, which started from the lower house and went to the Senate for his removal.
Yeah.
So it is a process where even on our constitution it is not pardon, because the constitution does not give anybody, even the president does not have the right, if you are impeached, to actually pardon you. Now, Justice Janet went to the Supreme Court and presented all of his evidence that yes, this process went on. But if I'm accused of something and you say I did wrong and you remove me, it means that you have to specify a punishment for me. If you did not specify any punishment, it shows that this was actually based on political intervention, because he was just removed. There's nothing here. So he believed that his right to due process was not properly adhered to, and there were some political processes involved. This has to do basically with the issue of the whole separation of power that we are.
Okay, let's not go off tangent. We are not talking about that case now. We are talking about Dr. Duba Chris Young's case. Let's hear from you, my colleague Prince. Let's hear from you on your take of the whole matter.
So, Sobo, for me, it's just simple and plain. You can see that the Ministry of Justice is acting in the role of the government agent to muscle the process, but using a strategic means to stall the decision of the court. And the simple reason is this: it's not Yan that they are looking at, Chris Yan. No. They are looking beyond Chris Yan. When the government took seat initially, the first few months of the government, there were lots of tenure jobs that were terminated. The government is currently afraid. They are not looking at it from a legal basis. They are afraid that if Yang case, Lema case at the level of the Supreme Court take precedent, the government might be constrained, or the rest of the other folks who got victimized might choose to take the government to the court, and the court may compel the government to pay them or reinstate them. Take for instance the entire team that were at the what they call it, LTECO, LTA. There were another team, even the Wash Commission that I come from, the current head, the head that was there, he had a 10-year position. That betting firm, our lottery body. There were a couple of other people that were there that had 10-year positions. They were all relief of their positions.
And they were paid off.
They were relief of their position. I'm not aware of paid off. The central bank governor were relief.
He was paid. The central bank governor was paid.
But the point I'm making is that all of those people who became victims of the government, anti-rule of law practice, could take the government to court and then win the government, and the government would pay a lot of money or be compelled to put them back in their position. So the government now is muscling that process to avoid that. That's why it's happening at the moment. They're muscling that process. Let me just respond to Prince. The full bench that they are going to, Sobo, trust me, that's where the manipulation will take place. That's where the manipulation will take place. In as much as I agree that that's the law, that's the procedure. But trust me, that's where the manipulation is going to take place, because now the decision will be on the basis of vote.
You're contradicting yourself.
So let me just correct Prince.
So every time I speak, you will have to speak. So then anytime you speak, then myself will have to correct you. Somebody don't say those
So Prince, this is not a debate between me and you.
No, but every time we have to correct this, right?
Okay, so somebody asked me to respond.
You say things that I got grounds to respond
Prince,
to.
you are not a moderator here.
No, but I'm also a participant of the show. The moderator, if the moderator is not seeing certain things, I get a right to point that out.
Okay, Chief.
And then the moderator should be able to call this issue. The moderator say, I will allow that. No, let allow the moderator to call this case.
Okay,
what Prince earlier said.
Let allow the moderator to call the case.
1 minute, Prince.
Yeah.
You made your argument. Let this guy respond. If there's anything we can allow you to respond, but the guys.
So let me say to Prince, there have been precedent cases, right?
Moses, 1 minute, Moses.
Even the central governor that he spoke about, the case went to court, and the central governor won that case, and he was paid. We all know about that. So it means that the Supreme Court already have a precedent on this matter, right? But what, like we are saying, this is the process. We're not saying whether it will be manipulated or not. It is, first of all, you cannot indict the court and saying that, when the case go to the bench, you'll be manipulated. When the same court has ruled in favor of a person that had a 10-year position before. You talk about the people from LTA. All of these people were settled. In law, they call it res judicata. It means that the matter has come to an end. It has closed. You can go back to court. Once you accept to say, okay, we'll do it that way. Sometimes some of these things are settled backdoor. Like I said, the Constitution gave clear authority to the president to appoint everybody in government. That was even the tenure job. The name is submitted to the president and he appoints. You work at his will. If the president doesn't want you to remain in the job, he can dismiss you. The only remedy you have at law is for him to pay you off. And they can decide, say, look, you know what? Formula, you have a tenure job. We're supposed to pay you $1,000, but every year we pay you $100. You
So,
can't
but I
do
got issue with that une remedy as being paying the person back. No, that's not true.
There's no
The
law
code
that
determine
compels
the
the president to
remedies.
give you the job.
It is the code who set punishment. It is the code who announced punishment for an allegations that has been
Bossman,
adjudicated in
the
court.
Constitution says you work at the will of the president.
Yes,
He can
I
dismiss
agree.
you at
But the
will, and that's
Constitution
why
does
Brother
not give
Moses
the
Sandy
president the
said,
latitude to
in
make
this
a
matter,
decision
it is only the
anytime.
president have the final judgment. And even Dr. Dubanyan lawyer told him, in this matter, it is only the president that can decide whether he will keep you.
So why
or
the court then why so you saying that the court doesn't know what she's doing? Is that why you
No,
say
the
as a
court get two
lawyer?
options, right? The court say you can either be reinstated or you can be paid. So
The-
in this case, the person that have that final decision is not even the court; it is
It's
the president.
Okay, Moses, let's hear from you so we can transition.
Yeah, look, I just wanted to say this quickly, and Prince, with all due respect to you, uh, the purpose of having this kind of discussion is for intellectual exchanges. So you may come and say something, and I can come and disagree with you, or Mr. Tagbe, or anyone, Mr. Farmer, anyone can disagree. It's nothing personal. So if you speak and formulate things that he has a different opinion, he can counter.
So yeah, is it. I don't disagree with you on that, Mr. Sandy. I don't disagree with you. But let's set it as a precedent, as a model of operation. So
No,
that
but-
when myself want to disagree with you, I'm giving the opportunity to disagree with you. But in most cases, every time I speak, then all of you guys want to disagree.
No,
But you speak and nobody gave me the opportunity to disagree with you when I have disagreement.
look,
Okay.
Let's set it as a
All right,
precedent.
gentlemen,
This is how
gentlemen,
it's gonna flow.
Gentlemen, let's transition.
All right,
Let's set it as a precedent. Let's set it as a precedent that this is how it's going to be flowing.
no,
Mr.
That way it's going your way.
We have a debate.
Osama,
Yes,
we do-
Moses.
we have to set a rule for this.
Exactly.
Because that is part of what social etiquette. If people are having conversation, you disagree, you have the right to say your disagreement. We're not going to say, oh well, you know,
Good.
if Mr. Family says this, then Moses Sandy will come and say this. No,
Good, I
it's
agree.
spontaneously. If it
Good.
comes to it, we can say
Okay.
no for that.
Okay, gentlemen, let's transition. Let's transition. That's the essence of the show.
That's it. I agree with that.
We
I
have to
was not wrong
disagree
to raise
there.
issue about that.
All right, Prince, we have to transition now. Are you listening to the Nighttime Heat, read to the Prom FM 105.5. We are streaming live on our Facebook. That's the Nighttime Heat Facebook and our YouTube channel. We are also streaming live on our Prom FM Morovia 105.5. Gentlemen, we are all aware that yesterday the president held his cabinet and his cabinet meeting, and a couple of things he talked about. But we chose to talk about again the emphasis he placed on the commerce of our country. The president indicated that there's a lot to be done at the Ministry of Commerce, and 2-3 times the president emphasized that. When the president spoke and drew the attention of the Minister of Commerce, you saw, if you watch it, you saw the cameraman trying to focus on the minister. We'll talk more about maybe why not much effort being made or focus being placed on the commerce of our country. Because like the president said, that the business people, they are thinking beyond us. And he indicated that we don't need anything called chicken feed. We can produce our own chicken feed. But let's listen to the president and listen to the tone and listen to the line and his conclusion on the commerce of our country.
Commerce has a lot to do, and I'm saying that, I'm not emphasizing it. That ministry has a lot to do in terms of food products that come to this country. I see a lot of friends, they are kind. Oh, when Christmas comes, take chicken. We're not here about chicken feet. We are a country that used to produce chickens. And some of these chicken, bringing hearts of this and that. We are not here to throw away things to our people. So that ministry will have to get forceful. They got to work and make sure that the Liberians get the products that are consumable, products that are quality. It's not a dumping ground. And so if we haven't been doing it, let's know the importance of that ministry to the economy. The business people are ahead of us. They're very smart. That's what they call hitting inflation. You can do it in many ways. You can make toilet tissue look big, but it's not properly compact. There are people that by nature may not like me and so, but I always like to make sure that we get the right people. Sometimes they don't have to like you, but they must do the work they're supposed to do. That is more important to me sometimes than people who like you. Because you go to some ministries, they don't want to work with that person, they don't like that person. We didn't go look for a matchmate to see who you were like. We were bringing people that will contribute. If you see they don't contribute, we can replace them.
Okay, so gentlemen, that's it. We listened to the president, his tone, and how emphatic he was that the Ministry of Commerce has a lot to do. Let's begin with you, Edwin. With the emphasis that the president spoke, and considering what's happening, to the extent the president almost sounded comical. He said, we don't need chicken feet here. We can produce our own chicken feet. What are you reading there?
Well, like we said yesterday, the president being a statesman, being someone who have, been here all his life, he's understand the governance structure. He was vice president. Like I said yesterday, the president is getting certain information of things that are coming to the country that are not consumable. And he did say that, that we have to be careful as to what comes into the country. And, that Liberia is not just a dumping ground where people bring in expired things and just give in to our people here and there. But something actually, pinpoint to me that he's watching. And it was a caveat that he was giving to the current Minister of Commerce, that we're watching you. You need to do more. You're not doing, what we expected for you to be. And secondly, if you see the president saying that we're not sending you there to go and like people, you got to work with people, he's also, again, getting some kind of information that there is some kind of a rigmarole there. Maybe the minister don't like the deputy minister don't like
at the Ministry of Commerce.
At the Ministry of Commerce. And this is not only unique to the Ministry of Commerce, it's almost everywhere in our governance structure. They bring one managing director, there are certain people that he doesn't like. He wants to bring his own people to work with. So he tried to, even if these people are the best, he tried to undermine them to push them out. Ministers too also do it. You always see the push and pull. In fact, someone that they want to come with their own media person, because they believe that they cannot work with Slobo George, who Sobo was maybe close to the former minister. So the president is sending a caveat. You are put there not because everybody's supposed to like you, but you are put there to work with everybody.
Now, Dave, let me ask you: do you think it's a caveat, or the president is saying the reality of what's happening on the ground? Like the president said, Liberia is not a dumping ground. We don't need chicken feed. like big day coming and business people trying to give you a gift and all of that. We must put our feet down because the business people are thinking far ahead of us. You think the president is a caveat, or he's saying exactly what is happening at the Ministry of Commerce and in our commerce?
The first thing, yesterday they talked about whether the Ministry of Commerce has the sophistication to determine whether goods coming into the country are contaminated or expire or consumable or not. And I'm still wondering whether the Ministry of Commerce has the sophistication. And another thing is that the president said we don't want chicken feet. Yeah, Liberia is not a dumping ground. But does Liberia have the capacity to do mass production of chicken?
No. Let me hold you. I don't think that's a line in which the president is speaking. Whether Labrador does have the capacity to do math now, the president is saying, and if you listen to him carefully, that look, Liberia is not a dumping ground.
I understand.
It means that he's apparently he's hearing that lot of
contaminated
products are coming to the market.
But that's obvious that a lot of contaminated and expired products that are entering our country, But what is happening at the entry points? Are people working at the entry points, are they vigilant enough to make this determination whether the goods are coming to the country that are contaminated or not? Do they have the capacity? Do they have the knowledge? Do they have this?
It's not about people not that well listening.
No.
I think trying to miss things.
I'm not messing things up. No,
it's not about people do have the capacity. The president appointed Magdalene Dagosa, right?
Yeah.
As the Minister of Commerce. The president expects a lot from Magdalene Dagosa. If things were not happening the way they are happening, where our commerce have become a dumping ground, where people, big day coming, and business people bring gifts to commerce, personnel, and say, look, take chicken feed and this. The president would have been talking about that. So it's not about what are the capacity of that, but what is at stake is the issue of leadership at the Ministry of Commerce. And that's what the president is talking about.
Sabora, I'm surprised that you're dismissive of the
capacity issue.
The capacity issue.
But no. I'm not dismissing. How does capacity? How does capacity come?
Now dumping ground.
I'm coming. One minute.
Okay, go on.
How does capacity come? Capacity comes when there's leadership. When there's leadership, capacity will come.
It is a leadership that's supposed to identify the capacity and put them in the right place.
Capacity and put them in the right places.
So
the president is not concerned what capacity there or not. The president has appointed her there. The president expects that people will not be using our country as a dumping ground. And if you listen to the president, he was very emphatic. On three times the president said the Ministry of Commerce has a lot to do.
Yes, I agree with the president.
Okay, let me hold you there.
No, don't hold me there just like that. No, you can't hold me there just like that, Sabor. No, I disagree.
I want to
go ahead.
Go ahead,
look,
go ahead.
The Minister of Commerce.
Because apparently you're not driving where we are driving.
No, the Minister of Commerce. Look, I'm not going to, because I'm not going to share your views. The Minister of Commerce knows that she has a responsibility. It's the regulatory arm of the government in terms of what is coming to the country and whether what is coming in the country is consumable or not. She should be on top of her game. If she has weaknesses, it's good that the president points out those weaknesses. But at the same time, does the Ministry of Commerce have the capacity?
They do.
They do. Okay. If the capacity is there, if the sophistication is there, if the laboratory is there to determine whether goods are contaminated, coming in and she's not utilizing them, then
whether they do have or they don't have, who's supposed to flag it?
The minister.
It's the Minister of Commerce.
You're not going to wait until I'm coming. The minister will not wait to attend a cabinet and the president being emphatic on the poor performance of the minister. They will come and say, "Oh, we don't have capacity." Okay, let me leave you that. Go to my man Moses.
Prince Kepler.
Moses, let's hear from
Why
you.
you don't want to go to Prince Kepler?
No. Moses,
Prince, run away.
Don't forget the president is a former ambassador.
Yeah.
Diplomats, when they talk to you, even when they are angry, they use euphemism, less offensive words. But you can tell from the tone of the president that he's really not happy with what is happening at the Ministry of Commerce. And so let me tell the minister to this number. That's what the president kept emphasizing. The Ministry of Commerce is very important. The Ministry of Commerce is very important. The business people are smart. The president is telling the Minister of Commerce that you need to step up to the place. You are underperforming. But he didn't come up to say you're not performing. He used euphemism by continuously stressing the importance of the ministry. So if I were that lady, if she cannot double up, it's time for us to start packing her personal belongings. Very soon, the president is going to dismiss her. That's what the president meant. And then lastly, let me say the time when people are appointed to leadership positions, when you take over, you do an assessment. You get to know the strength, the weaknesses of the institution that you have taken over, the needs and wants. That will help you to make informed decisions. Okay, you say you want to know what is happening with your inspectorate department. Do you have the manpower? Do you have the tools? If you don't, what do? You go back to your employer, the president. Mr. President, these are our limitations. Is there any way that the government can help us? If she didn't do that, she can blame the president. So let me stop there, guys.
okay, Prince, let's hear from you on this one.
So, Sabo, I thought that the president sounded very unserious.
Prince Nampol,
He sounded very unserious. And as a knowledgeable leader, when you go to a cabinet meeting, you go there with facts, with details, and direction for your subordinates or the people you steward over. What I hear the president say, based on the clip that you played there, he was just complaining. He's frustrated, but he himself lacked direction. He doesn't even have the first way to go forward.
Wow.
I would have thought the president would be direct and clear on the issues that the Ministry of Commerce is not addressing. Clear on that. He was not clear. And I believe before going to the cabinet meeting, the president have director of cabinet, the minister of state and technical people at the level of the Ministry of State that should give a clear, a detailed account of what the president wants to see the Minister of Commerce do. But to complain that Liberia is not a chicken feed country, what are you talking about? Even in the United States, there people eat chicken feed. People eat frozen food. People eat frozen food. When you say Liberia is not a chicken feed country, what are you saying? What do you mean? What do you expect the Commerce Minister to do? The president sounded very unserious. And if that is what they discuss in cabinet meeting, that's a very unserious meeting.
Okay, let's hold it there. Edwin, let's hear from you.
I think this is where Prince always having issues with you, because wherever he speaks, you come back to me. But I will address Prince. You know, Prince, this is not campaign time. I don't care what you do, what you say. There is no way in the world you can compare the wisdom of President Boakai to that of what you have before. Let's leave that. For you to sit here and say the president sounded very unserious, it shows how you don't even understand leadership. People do not just reprimand their official. And like Moses Sandy said, the president spoke in wisdom. You could be angry and say, look, there are issues that we're hearing. The president will not come
So
and
what
gossip.
issue you hearing?
Hey,
Did you hear
brother,
the issue?
listen to me now. The president will not come and gossip, say,
The
Madam,
man said no
Mr.
issue.
Hey, Chief,
Please,
please,
get it,
man. Please, I told you the day you ready for him and said to debate.
No, but about time we having conversation on so as you
Chief,
talking,
but
I should be
wait
able
now,
to correct you.
Mr. Crippler, 1 minute. Let the man learn.
You know, the president will not come and say, Madam Minister, Mr. Famula told me that there have been a lot of expired goods coming to the country and you don't do it. The president is speaking in parables to say, look, you have to do more. And we all know that. Look,
Okay.
to address my brother issues that he said about capacity, right? There is something at the Ministry of Commerce called IPD, Import Permit Declaration. So before you bring in any goods, you have to apply for the IPD. That IPD will tell you the origin of the goods, when it was manufactured, everything, and when is this goods due to expire. The more catching point issue here is with the poultry feed. Most often, sometimes the places these things are produced, even the time it takes to transport them to Liberia, it has passed the expiration period. So if you do not have a proper inspectorate, those things will slide through. Like I said last night, most of these things, once they bring them, they change the cartoon and put new stem on it. But at the end of the day, those things have expired.
I think, gentlemen.
So, can you allow me
for Prince
respond
Copper to sit there and say the president sounded very mysterious, he didn't know what he was saying. It means that Prince Copper is still in a CDC mood and he needs to get out.
So can I respond, Saba?
No, you made your point, and the man decided to respond to what you said.
So my point, and if I have issues with what you said,
I come in. You
God.
still have the time to speak. You still have the time to speak. You gentlemen, let's be frank here. Let us be frank here. While it is true that we have our individual opinions, I think our opinions should be voided off speaking condescendingly of our leaders. Let's be frank here. I don't think I will, and I'm saying this publicly, I will not condone, while it is true that I served in the former administration of former President George Weah, I will not condone.
I'm not hearing you, Saba. Because I want to listen to your comments so that I will respond appropriately. I'm not hearing you. Your voice lost.
I think they're having a problem in our studio.
All right, we're getting you now. I think it's clear now.
You getting us?
I'm getting you, but not Saba.
Yeah, we're not getting sober. We're not getting sober.
Yeah, I think Saba has some problem.
Yeah.
Saba, God trying to save you. Don't worry.
We have a technical problem here, so you just hold on small.
Okay, welcome to the nighttime heat radio on Prime FM 105.5. We had a technical problem, but that has been sorted now. Again, let me sound the caveat here. Gentlemen, I was saying that while it is true that I worked in the last administration, I will not allow anyone to be disparaging in their comments against the former president Weah. The same way, I will not allow any member of the panel to sound disparagingly against the current president. We can't come here to say the president is not serious. No, there's a way you can put it.
So, but when the president not serious, he's not serious. There's no insult on that.
Your point.
The president is very unserious.
I'm coming, comrade. I'm coming. You can argue your point.
Very unserious.
Comrade.
If you call that an insult,
comrade,
trust me, I'm not taking it back.
Let me learn.
And I maintain that.
Please, let me learn. I'm not speaking to only you alone. To
no, I didn't want to say he's not serious. He sounded unserious.
No, but let us not go that route. Let us not go that route. Yes, I know if you say someone will counter you.
Yeah, but they counter you. Get an opportunity already. So what you the
if you don't have a problem with what the president said to the Minister of Commerce, you can come out to say, look,
I can tell you that the president's statement was a very unserious statement.
All right, we're not going to go forward with that. We're not going to continue with that.
His statement was very unserious. And if that's the kind of meeting they can have, a cabinet meeting, that's a very unserious meeting.
Prince.
What are you talking about? You want to restrict my comment?
Prince. It's just.
Go ahead.
It's an onus on our part to respect our leaders, irrespective of our.
But we respect the president. But when
you can disagree with them, but when you look at a leader who has served this country for over 40 years, and you tell them that what they said was unserious, that's been indiscipline on your part. You don't even want for your kids. You don't even want for your kids to tell you that my dad is unserious. You know,
So, gentlemen, let's go forward with this whole discussion. Let's go forward with discussion now. Rest of the team.
I just want a few seconds. Look, Prince, I beg.
And establish a platform to regulate.
I'm not allow us to speak now. Let's be civil here. You have to distinguish yourself from the others. That's between an educated person and someone who is not educated.
You brought me here to micromanage me. Now, what you want to say?
We want you to be civil.
Is that why you bring me to micromanage me? It can't work.
Yeah, Prince, will you let to come on the show every time you speak and people refer to you as being unserious?
Oh, if I say unserious thing, you tell me I'm unserious. What's big about that?
Okay, so let us not make this a dialogue. But
if I say unserious thing, you tell me I'm unserious. I say unserious thing. I say the president's statement was very unserious.
Okay, so the lead host has clearly stated that when we come here, we be appropriate.
The host cannot tell me what to say. So far, I'm not insulting. The host cannot tell me what to say.
You have the authority to decide what you want to do with yourself.
That's a CDC Prince Copeland. Really, that is easy.
So what are you talking about? Oh, because all of y'all come from one background, you're sounding in one direction, I'm gonna follow it.
Please, we have to continue with the discussion, please.
Yeah, let's continue with the discussion.
We got limited time. Now, gentlemen, after the president cabinet meeting, and he sought to speak the way he spoke about the Ministry of Commerce. A day after, we saw a post, a Facebook post. You know, we are talk show hosts, so our eyes gotta be very sharp.
Yeah.
Now, these posts were done by Magdalene Da Costa herself or someone in her favor. We don't know. But the post came out to say
what's the author of the post? There should be an author.
That's
Is
the legal
it,
counsel.
is it anonymous?
That's the page.
Is it an anonymous
No, but
author?
Okay. Own post. Now, so the post appears to be, in another word, a counter that apparently what people are hearing, that she's incompetent, that she's not working well, this appears to be, but all of us will state our opinion about that. Now, let me read part of it. Honorable Magdalene Ellen Dagosa has a robust academic background, that we started, that supports her career in public service and economic development. She holds graduate studies in finance and banking, a Bachelor of Science in Economics, and a diploma in secretarial science. This diverse educational foundation equips her with the necessary skills to address complex economic and administrative challenges. Honorable Dagosa has extensive experience working in both the public and the private sectors, focusing on areas such as inclusive economic growth, trade facilitation, private sector or private sector development, and institutional reform. Her career has been marked by a commitment to foster sustainable development and driving inclusive growth in Liberia. Honorable Magdalene Ellen Dagosa currently serves as Liberia's Minister of Commerce and Industry. In her role, she's responsible for overseeing the country's commerce, policies, and initiatives aimed at economic stability and consumer protection. Her leadership involves conducting market surveys and evaluating economic data to modify policies that protect against inflation. She has emphasized the importance of collaboration and shared commitment to national progress within the administration led by Joseph Boakai. Before her current appointment, Honorable Dagosa served as the Assistant Minister for Administration. Now, gentlemen, let me begin with you, Edwin. A day after the president spoke about the commerce of the country, dishearteningly, this post trying to picture the commerce minister as the one with the expertise, the experience, and what does the post reveal to you?
Well, I think she was just, if it is hard now, because sometimes some of these official pages are managed by people, around them. But I think what it does is just to maybe re-emphasize or put out there her credential and what they think that she's capable of doing or so. But however, the president caveat was not basically to doubt her credential or her qualification in holding the job. The president's comment was basically based on oversight. You have a broader oversight as a minister. Yes, you have all of these credential, but apparently you're just sitting in a high office and looking above. You're not looking at the inspectorate division. You're not having, proper coordination among your people to make sure that these things are happening. So that in any way does not contravene what the president said. The president issue is here. Look, you have to have oversight, hands on. That's what we put you there for. And this whole thing about,
do you think it's a direct or indirect counter?
No, I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think.
Let's hear from you.
The first thing is that, like Edwin said, I don't think the president is questioning Dagosa's qualification. The president is just pointing out the flaws at the Ministry of Commerce. One can be qualified, academically qualified, but in terms of performance, you can have shortcomings. So there's nothing wrong with the president pointing out her shortcomings. In fact, she should even embrace embrace the position the president is showing me the way out that I'm not performing. My shortcomings are glaring. I need to work on them. So I don't think the president is even questioning her academic qualification. There are people who were qualified. They have volumes of degrees and certificates in a lot of areas. But yet and still, in terms of performance, they perform dismally in terms of performance.
So
They perform
Moses,
dismally.
Moses,
And besides that, the red out is obviously a counter, right? It's obviously a counter. And I doubted that she's not aware of that post. She's aware of it. Either she just wrote it or she used somebody to write it for her. But it's a counter. Almost like she feels that the president's comments at a recent cabinet meeting, they try to question her competence and qualification. So to put up a defense for her reputation or academic standing, that's what that post is intended for, to counter whether the president's not really questioning her academic qualification. The president is only concerned about her performance at the Ministry of Commerce. Yes, of course, you have the masters or the PhDs, but yet still,
but they are not reflecting your performance.
They're not reflecting.
Okay, let's hear from you, Moses. Moses, what do you make of this post a day after the president spoke about the commerce?
Look, honestly, like all of you have said, honestly, the write-up doesn't help the minister. There's no need for that. What the president of the Republic of Liberia wants, what the people of Liberia want, is a viable and efficient Ministry of Commerce under her leadership. And the way the president spoke, he has not seen that. And let me say something quickly here. Having a graduate degree, having a PhD or terminal degree or whatever, that doesn't mean that you are an expert. You can have all the theoretical training, but if you have that, if you lack the ability to mobilize people, to coexist with people, to supervise, to monitor, to track, and get the best out of people, you are not a good leader. That's what the president is saying. He said, look, when we send you to places, we don't send you, for you to go out looking for a match made. We sent you to do a piece of job. So it means that the president is simply saying, now, look, I want you to coexist. And what is happening at that ministry or what is happening in the government, I'm not pleased with some of the things I'm hearing. We don't want you coming to tell us whether you have a PhD, you have all the years of experience. Why haven't you showing that the tangibles? That's the concern of the president. So there was no need for that, right?
Okay, there was no need. Let's hear from you, Crippler.
So, Sobo, it will be good most of the time to. I'm not trying to dictate to your regulation of this process, but to bring me on sooner, because once I finish speaking, everybody want to respond. But here is it, right? Here is it. I agree with David that post is directly or was directly in response to what happened in the cabinet meeting. And this is the reason why that happened. This is the reason the minister wrote that post or asked somebody to write that post. We don't have the real facts. The president was not clear. He was speculative. He joined into the bureaucratic gossip that normally happens in the governmental cycle between ministers, deputy ministers, assistant ministers. Myself was in government. I know about these things. The president allowed himself to join into that gossip rather than playing a leadership role. That's why I say the president was very unserious. He was supposed to play a leadership role, tell the Minister of Commerce exactly what are the technical issues that need to be resolved that are not resolved? Where's the vision you have for the ministry that the minister is not meeting up with? When you fail to do that, then the minister will respond to the thing in the same gossip manner as it was taken to your desk. And that's what the minister did. Because the president did not set the tone for the minister to speak to the core issues that the Liberian people are interested in. He did not do that. So the minister joined the gossip.
Okay.
Anybody would have done what the minister did. The minister does not know where she needs to really tackle because the president did not tell her where to tackle. He only joined gossip.
Okay. Well, thank you. I think we spoke about this. We are.
So let me get a few seconds. What I want Prince to understand, a cabinet meeting is not a one-on-one or supervision with your boss. That was a large gathering.
Moses, you can't lecture me about cabinet meeting.
Oh, man, Prince, that's your right. That was not cabinet, man.
You can't lecture me about cabinet meeting. Whatever
that's why you
meeting
talking about gossip. Because why I read it was a gossip.
If there is a specific issue about performance of a specific person, you can give detail there as a case study. What are you talking about? Are you more knowledgeable about governance issue than me? Is that why you want to lecture me about what happens in a cabinet meeting?
Prince,
don't do that to me, man.
Prince, you know I went to a cabinet meeting. You are a junior cabinet official.
But he went to a cabinet meeting.
You are not a minister, so don't argue that.
So he went to a cabinet meeting.
Okay, Prince, let me just say something.
I went to cabinet retreats.
The retreat is different for the meeting.
What are you talking about?
Let Moses come in. Moses come in.
Yeah, but Moses should come in with a view, but he's not lecturing me. That's why I want you to know.
I'm simply saying I'm coming to you from the
say your view.
I'm coming to you from the perspective of leadership. Okay? I did
Moses,
not
say your view. You're not speaking to me. You're speaking to the Liberian people.
No, I want you to know that.
No, you're speaking to the Liberian people. When you want to talk to me, you call me on the phone, you talk to me. Speak to the Liberian people. Make your point.
Yeah, so Prince,
what you know about governance?
Okay, so Prince, the point I am making here is that in leadership at a gathering like that, you never expected the president to belittle that woman in there. No.
Okay.
The mayor raised concern about what is happening at that ministry and the importance of the ministry. He spoke as a diplomat.
Okay.
And you came condescendingly.
Look at what you talking about? What you talking? You go to a cabinet meeting. You got.
Please, man, Prince. The mayor's speech, man, Prince. You gotta show some respect for your quote. The mayor's speech.
No, so but let's go ahead.
But the men don't want to speak on an issue. The men finish talking while I finish speaking, and all of them won't respond. And you said I entertain that song.
Prince, we don't want to respond to you, but we have to correct you.
No, you don't.
You can sit on this platform.
So all of you guys, okay, then you make the platform your Unity Party thing and you run it like your Unity Party show. You run your Unity Party show.
We will come back here until 2029. We have that debate.
You get salary from government and you get
here.
From government. You think I hear for public relations work for government?
No, we don't hear for public relation for the opposition.
Listen, 1 minute.
But do it the right way.
1 minute. 1 minute. Prince.
Yeah.
Mr. Crippler.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah, man.
I know. I mean, we like the interaction. We like your vibes.
No, actually,
but we like your energy. But the thing is, let's just manage our words. That's all.
My man, you don't know we are messy when you
gentlemen, let's transition quickly. This issue about the suspension, the indefinite suspension almost of the identification cards is causing serious problem for many people, many Liberians. Some people, in fact, who are supposed to get employment, they can't because they don't have the cards. In other areas, yes, maybe the voter registration cards could be accepted, but not in all areas. So the identification card is very important. And because of this indefinite suspension, one of the senators took it to the plenary to intervene and have this matter addressed. Let's read exactly what he told his colleagues. Wellington Gibbon Smith, Senator of Riverside County, has called on the Liberian Senate to invite the leadership of the National Identification Registry, the NIRO, to explain the ongoing suspension of the issuance of National Citizens Identification Cards. In a communication addressed to Senate Pro Tempore Yombli Kanga Lawrence, Senator Gibbon requested that the executive director of the NIRO and members of the board of directors appear before Senate plenary to clarify the circumstances surrounding the halt in the issuance of the identification cards. According to Senator Gibbon Smith, the continued suspension of the identification card program is creating serious challenges for Liberian citizens who depend on the document to conduct routine businesses and official transactions. The unexplained suspension of the issuance of National Citizens Identification Card is causing serious inconvenience to Liberians and undermining normal business and administrative transactions. Now, gentlemen, his point here is for the Senate to invite the NIRO. But we can remember that prior to the suspension, there were some issues at the NIRO. And as a result of that, the president, I think, constituted a committee headed by his security advisor. He said the security advisor? Kofi Woods. But up to that time, up to now, we are yet to hear as to when this process will start and what is holding this process or halting the process from starting. Dave, are you concerned?
So the president did appoint Kofi Woods to probe the matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was happening or obtaining at the National Identification
Registry.
Mm-hmm. Has Kofi Wood come up with his findings?
We haven't yet.
We haven't heard about that.
No.
Right? And in all fairness, that is an embarrassment to many people. Even look, the national identification, card is very important. It's causing a lot of inconvenience, and I agree with that. To open a US dollar account at any bank, that is required.
Mm-hmm.
To even register your business at the business registry right here on Front Street, you need that. If you don't have a passport or your passport expired, you need that card. There are a lot of people who have misplaced or lost their voter cards. They depend on that national ID card to transact business.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a lot of problem. And there hasn't been any explanation from even the NROI. Is it called NROI?
Mm-hmm.
What's the acronym? NROI, or even the executive branch of government as to what is holding on. What hasn't that agency of government started working? It's becoming a serious problem, and there's a need. It's important that you place it on the list for discussion. It's causing a lot of inconvenience, and I don't know whether they're discussing that at the background or what is happening. I think the head of this place is Andrew Peters. Andrew Peters hasn't really come up to speak to the public as to what is holding on.
Okay.
What the issues are.
Okay.
Well,
yes, Edwin.
Yes, it's a major concern because for these instruments that people use to transact as their identity, once there's a process that delay them of getting it raises a concern. The process started, but I think there was some misstep along the way. Because I know that one time there was this long queue of people waiting to get these cars, and then there were issues of the machines or the equipment, or there were not enough centers around the country. Look,
That's something I've always observed about Liberia. We quick to copy things from people, but we do not actually sit down to analyze how did they get there and what did they, do
How did they
to be able
succeed?
to succeed. This whole thing about identity card, I think a few years back it was done in Accra, in Ghana. In fact, it even extended to individuals, Liberians who were residing there as residents. They were also required to get those cards or so. But again, did we look at how it was done? Was it done by the Ghanaian government, or was it done by a private entity that were hired by
That had the expertise.
that had the expertise to do it? Or did we just say, okay, you know what, the NIR herself would do it? But she may not have the capacity, she may not have the expertise. And I think that's why the president constituted that committee to investigate, to know what the problems are. And I think once that process has been solved, I don't know whether any major allocation was done in the budget for them this year to see whether they're going to subcontract the frame to come and do it for them, because it's a huge process. It's a very huge process. It has to spread across the entire length and breadth of Liberia. And if you have an NIR that probably have about 200 staff, where can you? So
Okay.
you have
All right, Edwin, let's hear from you on this. So Moses, let's hear from you on this.
Look, we just like to complicate things for ourselves in Liberia. National identification cards, driver's license, are issued by the same entity. Like here we call it DMV, Division of Motor Vehicle. So you can make this a part of the function of the Ministry of Transport. When the Ministry of Transport were issuing driver's license and all of that, you just create a division within that, and you centralize the whole service. The people can deploy across the country and make it very easy. You don't need those or other agency or government. You call them national identification registry and all of that. No, the Ministry of Transport can handle this very well. You go for a national ID, they give you a national ID. You want your driver's license, they give it to you. The entity now that has taken over the responsibility of the Ministry of Transport, look, government can work with these people and say, look, you know what? We want you to click on the registry for a national ID. And these same people can deploy across the country. Don't create no necessary bureaucracy. Have this other group, that other group doing almost the same thing. No. Make the thing small but efficient. That's all we need. That's what I would like to say on that.
Okay, Prince, let's hear from you.
So you see, usually we are good at condemning other people, and then when we take on issues, then we even turn up to be worse than the very people we condemn. We condemn the actions of other people. The whole issue about the national identification process started with the condemnation of what was inherited. And I think that was fundamentally wrong. You condemn what was inherited, that you want to make it perfect, and a single policy measure was not put into place to ensure that the inconveniences people going through now, they wouldn't have to go through them. Just day before yesterday, I could not open my bank account in Liberia for my business simply because the person who is supposed to be a secretary, the person does not have a national identification ID, and there is nowhere to issue one. The person lost their voter ID. So what are we trying to say? The government needs to look at things. Leadership is not, there's nothing like perfection in leadership. My friend, what they call it, was talking about we can follow, we pick up people things without talking through them. Sometimes when you initiate process, you don't have to be initiated from the perfect perspective. You initiate it, get started, and on you can improve on it. That national identification process started from the early administration, the WIA administration continue on that. If the Boyka administration want to improve on it, the process could be on while they are improving on it. They didn't do that. Now see the inconvenience we are into. When people say the government is not serious, their action is primitive, then you say that insult. Does that not show on seriousness? A national ID, people are inconvenienced in the country. And nothing has been said about that. In committee room, David say it must be there forever. Until the committee come, all people go through the inconvenience. And nobody should get angry about that. I mean, that's why I can say. It's just a
Okay, so,
Now you come on, you are ready to respond, and then you say, "Oh,
we'll open the lines. We'll open the lines very shortly. But I think the issue of the NIR is something that that's claimed the attention of all of us.
Yes,
and
of
that's the
course.
reason why Wellington Jevon Smith, Senator of Riverside County, are taking the issue to his colleagues so as to go through. But unconfirmed report suggests that there is some disagreement, some discontent between major stakeholders who supposed to ensure that this process happened. There are two groups, and some are for a company that they're supposed to hire to do the work, and the other group is for another company.
You see
So
that?
where they have this division amongst them. They have not decided as to which of the company should be given the contract. So, but it is troubling, and we're going to continue to knock the doors off.
So, under such circumstances, what makes the final decision?
Well, the final decision, should be made by the president. But
The
again,
leadership, the president.
no, come in, please. The president should make the final decision. But again, the president has constituted a committee.
He's
So
not
this
in charge.
the last in the preview of
The committee set
the
by the president.
committee set up by the president, and the head of the committee is Kofi Woos, Samuel Kofi Woos.
So,
So-
someone, if you're the president, you set up a committee to do a piece of job, and the committee
we'll
is taking
continue to knock the
forever
doors
to do it.
of
You
Samuel
keep
Kofi
waiting
Woos
for that
and
committee.
some members of the committee to see where we are on this whole national identification registry. But next week, I'm sure we'll be able to get some information. It may not be detailed, but some information about the process. So you can put your calls down on 0776-540-987. That's the alternative line, 0776-540-987. Or better still, 0886-050507. Again, 0886-050507. Or 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. That's the numbers to call, and you are live on the program. Today, we've been talking about a couple of issues. First, we spoke about the LACC clearing Nat McGill. We spoke about that. Let's see what we can take this call on the line quickly. Good evening. Yes, sir, I'm okay. Please, increase it. 0778-460-793. That's the number to call, and you are live. Let's hear from you, sir.
Yes, I want to be talking the transaction of, let me is on serious. This color is present on serious. How can you encounter the two parties? The governor want to be exact. It's to come over a revolution. So you have it on America, Boga, serving at the highest state in the government. You don't want to come over. If we're taking court for the two parties, if ended up for the two parties, so that's really what you will be dragging. I everything or add no final decision. So that.
Okay, I think you made your point. 0778-460-793, or better still, 0886-050507, or 0776-540-987. That's the alternative line, 0776-540-987. That's the alternative line, and you are live on the Nighttime Heat. We've been discussing a couple of issues. First, the LACC clearing Nathaniel McGill. We spoke about that. Let's hear from you. Good evening.
Because some of my actually from the people's city of West Point.
Okay.
Because some of I would like to speak to two things. Or I want to speak on the issue of of the 70s that of the world region. I think Ministry of Justice, they need to put a press release down because they did not follow the main interview or perhaps they were ill-informed. Dual President did not say on yesterday on Julius show at 5 o'clock. He did not say that the government don't want to pay him money. But he did not place any blame on the government. There was a question asked as to whether he will go back to Enfield as Director General or he will take on the job. He said that decision has to do with the president. He cannot be the one to make that decision for himself. In fact, Julius asked that question and Okolo also asked that question. And he may see that statement. So perhaps the Ministry of Justice, they were not informed. General College, they are right. Maybe they have a boss instruction. They need to put our whole press release down.
Okay, many thanks. Many thanks.
And lastly, I think I support the president greatly. The president surprised me yesterday. I never knew my president is following issues like going on. A statement made in the cabinet meeting yesterday, I think that was a fair statement. I think set my support to the government or set support the president is one of the best statements I ever heard. I want to give it up for my president. I think he's taking the rest of the territory. And your police there on the show there, Prince Kibla, I think he just needs to pull his thing for, even though he was dismissed from the Watch Commission, but he had to move on. I think another government
Okay. All right. You made your point. 077
That democracy, I agree with you.
0793 again 0778 793. That's the number to call, or you can also call 0886 050507. Again 0886 050507 or 0776 540-987. Again 0776 540-987. That's the numbers to call, and you are live. We have 3 lines, and of course we've been talking about a couple of issues. We spoke about the delay in trying to issue the identification cards. What is happening? We discussed that. The president emphasis on the commerce of the Republic of Liberia. We also discussed that. We spoke about the LACC clearing Nathaniel McGill, former Minister of State under the WIAS administration. We spoke about that. The Justice Ministry pushing back on the former Enfield boss, Duba Chris Young. We spoke about that. Which of the discussion that's claimed your attention? Want to hear from you as well. 0778 460 793. We have limited time. 0778 460 793. Better still, 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507 or 0776 540 987. Again, 0776 540 987. That's the numbers to call, and you are live on the program. Let's take this caller quickly. Good evening. Yes, sir.
So, the conversations around the president calling on the Minister of Commerce and to step up to against. I listened to one of your panelists who said that the president is on serious, or the president at the cabinet meeting was on serious because he did not specifically says to the minister which area of that sector that she should place emphasis on. Look, and he tried to make us believe that because he was once a minister, whether he was a proper minister, but I know that he was never a proper minister because his name alone, I can never remember when that name was ever a cabinet minister in any government in this country before. However, even if he was a cabinet minister, it does not mean you have all of the knowledge about governance. The president, like one of the panelists said, the president spoke like a diplomat. He spoke like a diplomat. He took every area in the Congress ministry, in the Congress set of our country has a problem. And it was important for the president to say to the minister that the minister should step up to her game. For you to say that the president should say, in terms of price, step up to your game. In terms of goods coming in the country, step up to your game. In terms of no. And the president just generalized it, and he spoke, and that was the best way the president presented that. So now it is incumbent upon the minister for her now to call her team together, and so that they can see so that they can re-strategize. But the way your panelists refer to the president as on serious, look, the brother even he's not even serious. The fact that you can even think that the president is not serious because the way the president spoke, it tells you that he's not even serious. And I don't know why you both keeping such a serious man on the platform as the panelist.
Okay, all right. Thank you. You made your point. 0776 540 987, or better still 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793, or 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. That's the numbers to call, and you are live on the program. Again, like I said, we've got 5 minutes to go. We've been discussing the issue regarding the LACC clearing Nassana McGill, former Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, under the administration of former President Ellen Jones, that's George Weah, and also been talking about the Ministry of Justice pushing back on Dr. Dubé Chris Young. I like his name, Dr. Dubé Chris Young. I like the name. Yeah, no, I like the crew name. The Ministry of Justice are pushing back on him, and also we talked about the president's emphasis on the Congress of the Republic of Liberia, and of course we went into what the president meant when he said we don't need chicken feet in our country. We can produce that here, but the Ministry of Commerce has a lot to do. We spoke about that. We played the president's voice, and also we talked about the delay in issuing our voter registration. That's not voter, but national identification cards. What's happening? We hear conflicting accounts. We want to hear the exact detail from the government. We've been talking about that as well. So it's your turn now. We got 2 minutes to go. 0776 540 987, or 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507, or 0776 540 987. That's the numbers to call, and you are live on the program. So, gentlemen, let me hear from you guys quickly. Time has caught up with us. We'll have to go. We can go beyond. Dave, your party comment.
I disagree with the caller who said there's no need to keep Prince on the show. Prince is an intellectual. He has just a critical mind, and I don't see anything wrong with being critical on the show. The only thing is that he needs to cool his tempo. This is an intellectual discourse. We all are allowed to express our opinions on the trending developments in our country, and then we have to be civil in terms of addressing them. But it was a fine show, and we'll be back here on Monday to continue to discuss the issues as far as Liberia is concerned.
Okay. Edwin?
Yes, let me say, I think it was a wonderful show. We dive into the various issues. We're able to discuss a range of different issues as you, the moderator, brought it forth. But rest assured, I can tell Prince, we will be here to counter some of these things. So don't be deterred. We'll have the debate. We're not going to go personal because this is all about Liberia. Yes, you have interest in Liberia. You may be against the government, but in as much as you may be, like Slava said, I think we all need to be very civil in our discussions. We don't refer to our leaders as being, unserious or so. You don't do that in a civilized society. We are educated people. We should always step
above the other people who we think that are not at that level. So again, let me say a big thank you to our listener for listening to us tonight. Maybe beginning next week, I may be coming in on Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday, because Tuesday and Thursday I will have to now stay in the office to do some work as I trying to, start doing the practice graduating for my bar exam. But whenever I have the time in between the Tuesdays and Thursday, I will definitely find a way to fill in.
Okay, we could talk that behind the scenes. Moses, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I think it was indeed a great show. Let me say thanks to all of you for the discussion tonight. And I would like to piggyback on what Edwin and Mr. Taggart said. Look, when we come here, we come to discuss, as nationalists. We don't want to come across as people who are out of touch with reality. When you speak, when you say something, someone listening to you, you don't want a person wondering, is this person being delusional, out of touch with reality, doesn't know what is happening, and it just defeats the whole purpose. And the purpose of this show here is to educate, inform, on a consistent basis. So I just like to say this to all that before we utter something, we really need to look at what we are saying and let us all the time be safe. It was a great show. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Prince Crippler?
So, it's a pleasure to be here. And this is a mechanism, this is a platform to advocate on behalf of our people, to root out the ills in our society. And irrespective of where the ill is, we have obliged ourselves. I, as an individual, have obliged myself to take the high grounds to ensure that those challenges that are confronting our country are uprooted. I maintain my position that the president sounded very unserious. I maintain that unseriousness is unseriousness. Anybody who have a task to perform, if you don't perform the task, you are demonstrating unseriousness to perform that task. The president did not tell the minister exactly what he should have told the minister to be able to deal with that situation. You cannot give the minister, heads up to be thinking about what to do. You have to tell the minister exactly what you want the minister to do. If you fail to do that, I strongly believe it's on seriousness, and I owe no apologies to anybody for making my opinion in that regard.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Prince Crippler, and thanks Moses, Sandy, Eldrin Famula, David Tagbe. Thanks to all of you, including our producers for the week. We'll be back at God willing. That's on Monday. Rest assured, listeners and viewers, the nighttime heat will continue to come your way every evening. Until then, have a splendid weekend. Sabo George is my name.